Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this video today, I want us to talk about Mount Kenya politics. Because Mount Kenya is going to determine whether William Ruto is going to be re-elected or not in 2027.
Watafute mtu ya kutisha. Watafute mwingine ya kutisha. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tuko pamoja watu wa Nyeri. Mimi nauliza nyinyi, ndio mimi nikuwe rais. Si nyinyi mlinipigia kura? Yaani mnafikiri mimi nitakuwa mjinga niwache watu walinipigia kura niende nitafutane na watu wa pumbavu? Neko kana tigwo.
There are two facts which we can't run away from as far as Mount Kenya politics is concerned. The first fact is Rigathi Gachagua's factor. When William Ruto engineered the removal of Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president, he wanted to do two things. The first thing he wanted to do was to do away with Rigathi Gachagua, because from the onset, Rigathi Gachagua was not even his choice of a running mate. So he knew Rigathi Gachagua was going to give him problem in the second term. So he wanted to deal with that.
He's the one who crafted the impeachment and bribed members of parliament at 500,000 each and senators at 10 million. Bribed the mover of the motion, the Kibwezi West MP. He has been everywhere complaining he was shortchanged. He had been promised to be the chairman of the Budget and Appropriation Committee after successfully tabling the motion. And again, the president was saying that the MPs overruled him. It is common knowledge that those Mount Kenya MPs cannot overrule the president. They do whatever he wants.
And the second reason why he removed Rigathi Gachagua was because William Ruto knew so well that he had made promises to the mountain, and he knew he was not going to deliver as he promised to the people of the mountain. But after his impeachment, Rigathi Gachagua has continued to shine. But William Ruto is determined to win the support of the mountain.
Wabunge wakaanza vita kwa sababu wameambiwa wasipopiga magoti, nasikia wataenda nyumbani. So ikafika mahali hapo, sasa nikaelezana na huyu bwana, sasa my friend, please punguza vita na hawa watu wote. Sasa ikanifikia mimi. Mimi sasa, unajua, mimi naweza kukufanya one term president. Usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, usipofanya hii, nahitaji bilioni 10. Wewe unajua bilioni 10, Bwana Waweru?
In this video, I want to reveal to you guys how William Ruto is cleverly dismantling Rigathi Gachagua in Mount Kenya. And I hope and pray that Rigathi Gachagua, his allies and supporters are paying very close attention to William Ruto's moves, because William Ruto is making these moves step by step. Before I reveal to you guys the step-by-step moves William Ruto has been making, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, William Ruto chaired some UDA meeting at State House in Nairobi. And Gathoni wa Mushomba attended that event. And Gathoni wa Mushomba promised to deliver William Ruto's third term in office. Most of you guys saw that just from the face value. But the truth of the matter is that it is part of the wider strategy which William Ruto has been using in the mountain. Again, you should have noted that Honorable Kiumburi was also at State House. So what are some of the strategies which William Ruto has been using? Because remember, William Ruto is the president. He impeached his deputy. But one thing we have to also give to Rigathi Gachagua, and I'll prepare a separate video, is the fact that Rigathi Gachagua, despite being impeached, despite the fact that he's being frustrated, has continued to remain in the limelight.
I want to tell the people of Kenya that I don't feel safe. And for the first time, let me say that on 30th of August in Kisumu, undercover security agents entered my room in Kisumu and bagged it. And one of them tried to poison my food. But we detected it and we were able to escape the scheme. I was supposed to be killed through poisoning. On 3rd of September, in Nyeri, another team from the National Intelligence Service came to Nyeri and tried to poison food that was meant for me and Kikuyu Council of Elders. I did report this matter.
How has he been able to do that? It's pure strategy from Rigathi Gachagua. But William Ruto is now making certain moves. Let me explain the first strategy. The first thing William Ruto did with Rigathi Gachagua was that impeachment. The impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua was part of this scheme because William Ruto knew that Rigathi Gachagua was very strong, very good communicator. If Rigathi Gachagua was empowered as a deputy president, the way he has empowered Professor Abraham Kithure Kindiki, Rigathi Gachagua was going to turn out to be another Ruto. You remember how William Ruto dealt with Uhuru Kenyatta in the second term. Ruto did not want such kind of a person as his running mate, especially in the second term. So he thought that the best strategy was to engineer the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. After that, Kenyans were going to forget in the next 3-4 months, and they were going to forget about Rigathi Gachagua. That strategy has not worked. And because the impeachment strategy has not worked for him, William Ruto has now devised new strategies. But remember, by impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, he has achieved one thing. He has stopped Rigathi Gachagua from using state resources, because as a deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua was entitled to so many things. So that's number one. Number two, after impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto did another thing. He engineered a war between Rigathi and Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta was very angry with William Ruto, but he was more angry with Rigathi Gachagua because he felt Rigathi Gachagua betrayed him. So William Ruto knew that the enemy of your enemy becomes your friend. So that's how he was able to convince Uhuru Kenyatta to take him to Gatundu for some nyama choma. That war between Uhuru and Rigathi is what created another thing. Fred Matiang'i versus Rigathi Gachagua. So Matiang'i was then propelled as a presidential candidate. Remember, Rigathi cannot run for the presidency. He has to support someone else. But now we had Matiang'i coming as a Jubilee candidate, so which meant two centers of power then emerged in Mount Kenya. As much as Rigathi Gachagua had upper hand, but deep down, the people of the mountain, they were like, we can support Rigathi giving MPs, but support Fred Matiang'i for the presidency. That's exactly what William Ruto wanted, to create confusion in the mountain. And after creating that confusion, he then created another problem for Rigathi. Rigathi was then branded as a tribal leader. And this is partly, you can't blame Ruto, this is partly because of the mistakes committed by none other than Rigathi Gachagua himself. One of the reasons why Rigathi Gachagua was impeached was because of the politics of shares. William Ruto took advantage of that. And Rigathi was projected as a tribalist. And that's exactly what isolated Rigathi Gachagua from the rest of the country. So Rigathi Gachagua became very popular in the mountain. Very, very popular. But at the national level, the other communities did not really give a hoot about whatever Rigathi Gachagua was doing. And that's why even online, even on this platform, Rigathi Gachagua became very popular, but confined to his supporters from the mountain. Then the mountain started questioning themselves. Between Rigathi Gachagua, Ndindi Nyoro, or whoever, who can we invest in? Then Ndindi Nyoro was propelled a bit and then removed to win sympathy of the mountain. So as we speak, the mountain are debating whether Ndindi Nyoro should be the kingpin, whether Uhuru Kenyatta should be the kingpin, whether Fred Matiang'i. So that discussion is in the mountain strategically. And then William Ruto unleashed the killer blow, the broad-based government. The moment William Ruto brought broad-based government, he was able to neutralize Rigathi Gachagua. Because remember, Rigathi Gachagua had one strength: numbers. The mountain voted for Ruto. The mountain gave Ruto MPs. That was a strength. And the moment Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, he went with the majority of his MPs. Those are facts. And even the ones who remained, most of them were not bold enough to face him. Then Ruto went and picked Raila. Raila came with his troops. So which meant in parliament, it was easy for William Ruto to actualize his legislative agenda without being frustrated. There was now no need to prop up Rigathi Gachagua. There was no need to force the mountain. So it took Ruto over 1 year from the time Rigathi was impeached, certainly over 1 year up to today. And William Ruto is now going back to the mountain and telling them that wale watu wale wapumbavu. I can't leave you here for those people. That statement caused huge political storm. Most people interpreted it to mean he was referring to the Luos. Some people believed that he was referring to Rigathi. That's how he was able now to neutralize Rigathi Gachagua. And the last strategy, Ruto is now going for Rigathi Gachagua's allies. That is the second phase. One by one, and what to mark this, one by one, Rigathi Gachagua's allies are going to begin to fall. Some of them will see the need to stick with Rigathi. Some of them will realize the ground is not even good for them. So they'd rather work with government, get whatever they can get, then try their luck. If they win, sawa. If they don't, they move on. So Ruto has earmarked Rigathi Gachagua's allies, some of them. Today in the mountain, some MPs who used to be constant around Rigathi Gachagua are no longer there. Those are facts. So Ruto is now targeting them. And soon you'll start seeing them one by one joining UDA. One thing I don't want to talk about because I don't know is whether the people of the mountain will follow William Ruto or they will stick with Rigathi Gachagua. Maybe the people of the mountain who are here, they can tell me, and as they tell me that, they should also be able to explain to me how unbeaten off these pet rigging claims went to UDA. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.